Get ready, fighters! A Rome himself production is coming your way!
Hey, what's going on, guys? Rome himself here. So it's been a few days since the SVC Chaos part with rollback was released by SNK and Code Mystics. I noticed a lot of people have some interest in the game, and I figured why not make a beginner guide to help out anyone who is newer to the franchise. I'll give a quick overview before I jump into everything, but from a game standpoint, this game is what you would call a decomposed KOF. And I don't necessarily mean that in a bad or like derogatory way. It's just that SNK tried to make this game be appealing more to Capcom players as well. So they took the base of KOF 2002, but they removed things that are like KOF-isms, you know, short hops, proximity throws, and even the flow of movement with running. They swapped out those things in favor of system mechanics similar to Street Fighter games, again to get players from Street Fighter more acclimated with this. So I figured I'd go through everything right now. We'll break down the game, just the beginner stuff. I'm not going to go into character specific things. There's a lot of guides and wikis that have all of the information you'll need. I'll link them in the description below, as well as there's some other videos on YouTube that shows off each character in their own right. With that being said, let's just start off with the basics. So SVC Chaos is your typical SNK fighting game, which means that it has a 4-button scheme. That's a light punch, light kick, heavy punch, and heavy kick. Or as we like to call it in the SNK scene, A, B, C, and D. Your movement options are also standard for fighting games. You hold forward on the stick to go forward, back to go back, down for crouch, and up for jump. One of the early KOF-isms that was changed is there is no short hops in this game, but there is super jumps similar to the Marvel vs. Capcom games. And to do that, you have to input down and then press up. You know you'll initiate the super jump when you see the after image of the character. In addition to walking forward and back, you can also forward dash or back dash. Back dash by pressing forward or back twice, or forward dashing by pressing 6 or forward twice. Note that you can cancel your forward dash into an attack or a throw. We went over normals, now let's talk about command normals. Similar to other games, command normals are an additional set of normals you might have on a button. So using Ryu as an example, Ryu has a standard light punch, but if you press back in light punch, you get this right here, this little elbow attack from Ryu. He also has his traditional collarbone breaker attack. And since this is a 4-button game, SNK decided to use some of the additional normals from the Capcom fighters and give it to characters as a command normal. Again, using Ryu as an example, his standard medium kick that you would see in Street Fighter games is now his down back heavy kick. So his down back, or in this case, you could say 1D. I'll get into the specifics of command normals in a bit and why they're important, just like in KOF games, but I want to go over special moves first. Special moves are the same that they are in pretty much every other fighting game. You input certain motions and you can press a button corresponding to it and you'll get a special move. In the case of Ryu, all of his traditional special moves are here and accounted for. The Hadouken, the Shoryuken, and the Tatsumaki, all done the same way. So Fireball is quarter circle forward, A or C, or light punch or heavy punch. Shoryuken is forward, down forward, and heavy punch or light punch. And a Tatsumaki tornado kick is quarter circle back B or D, or light kick or heavy kick. Now the combo structure of this game is primarily chains. You do a few light normals into a special, but like I mentioned with command normals, now that this is a KOF style game and you have Street Fighter characters in here, one of the main combo structures or formulas for KOF combos, which will work in pretty much all those games. So I need you to listen to this very importantly if you're someone who doesn't understand the KOF combo structure. In games like these, command normals are allowed to be canceled into after normals. In some cases, they lose the property. For instance, if you do a heavy punch into an overhead command normal on a block string, it'll lose the overhead property. So looking at what we know about Ryu already, we know that his command normal is down, back, and heavy kick, right? So if we put it together, we can chain his light kick into that or his heavy punch into that for a combo. See, it's fairly simple, but I do know that a lot of Street Fighter players don't really understand the concept of that because command normals are traditionally not comboable in those games. But you can do this with pretty much every character that has a command normal. Some command normals are slower than others and they won't combo, but in most cases, usually everybody has a string where they can do jump normal, heavy normal, command normal, special move, and or super. Now with the basic movement and buttons out of the way, let's go over the system mechanics. So the meter on the bottom of the screen has a level up system. You start with level 1. As you do more damage, you go to level 2. Once it gets to level 3 in this game is considered maximum. We'll get into that in a moment. However, your meter system here is going to encompass a lot of your offensive and defensive mechanics. Starting with throws, the reason why I mentioned throws after explaining the meter system is because a unique thing to SVC Chaos is that whiffing throws actually spends meter. In order to cater to Capcom players yet again, SNK made throws in this game non-proximity, meaning that they're not forward and heavy punch or heavy kick as seen in previous SNK titles, but instead they adopt the Street Fighter style of 2-button throws. If you want a forward throw, you do light punch and light kick together. If you want a back throw, you do heavy punch and heavy kick together. Now, while throws naturally are a mix-up game for blocking or going high or low, a fun thing about throws in this game is that in order to tech throws, you have to tech the right button accordingly. So if I do a light punch and light kick throw, but my opponent initiates a heavy punch and heavy kick throw, they won't be able to tech it. So they're gonna have to tech it with the exact same buttons that I pressed in order to not get thrown. One of the few system mechanics that did make it back from KOF is the guard cancel blowback. In order to initiate that, you have to be in a block string and you need at least one stock of meter. If your opponent is hounding you down with buttons, you can press C and D to push them back and create some space. As you can see, it sends them a great deal of distance, so it is a good defensive tool to create some space. If your opponent is pressuring you and you have no idea how to get out of it, it's good to just push them back and keep them away. Also good if you're a zoner type character as well. You can, as you can see, push them full screen, start back your zoning game, or just go in the aggressive and take your turn back and dash in. You also have recovery roll in this game too. If you eat a soft knockdown or an attack that doesn't keep you down for too long, tapping A plus B or light punch and light kick at the same time can help you tech roll. Just note that you can only tech roll backwards and only on soft knockdowns. And also, for some reason, the timing of tech rolling in this game is a lot more strict than it is in other fighting games. In KOF in particular, you can damn near mash AB at any point of the knockdown and get the roll. In this game, it is a very specific timing, so you have to practice that. And now, arguably the most important defensive mechanic in this game, and one of the most important mechanics that is unique to SVC Chaos, is the guard cancel step dash. So while in the block string, if you input B plus C or forward and forward twice, you can dash through and try to get a counterattack on your opponent. Now, why this mechanic is important is because in SVC Chaos, being in the condition that this game is in, there is a lot, and I mean a lot, of safe special moves in this game. Supers as well. There's some supers that just can't be punished without the guard cancel step. Again, it's another great tool at taking your turn back, but it is so pivotal to get you out of dire situations. And as you'll see if you watch high level footage of this game, the best players are utilizing that guard cancel step any chance they get. Now, I mentioned that there's two different ways of inputting the guard cancel step dash, and that's B plus C or forward and forward. The reason why there's two different versions, and they're very important, is that the B plus C version, while easier on block, it does take 60% of a meter to use that one. If you do the forward input instead, that only consumes 20%. So ideally you want to learn the forward input of it, but as a beginner, I don't begrudge you for going for BC. Use the BC input to get your punishes correctly. Then the better you play and the more you start to practice and stuff and get the timing down of the, forward version of that, definitely switch over to that and consume your meter. Meter management is so important in this game. Speaking of meter management, now that we have explained the meter system, let's talk about the supers that you can use with it. So like I said, your system meter on the bottom has a level system. It goes from level 1 to level 2, and like you just saw, maximum. Supers are done with traditional inputs for some characters. Some charge characters have the back forward charge super. Others like Ken has the double quarter circle forward for Shoryu Reppa. And supers in this game only take 1 bar. There's no EX supers. There's no like level 2 supers. There's only the level 1 supers. So they take up 1 input of bar. There's no super cancels in this game, but you can combo into supers from normals. So while I've mentioned there's no level 2 supers, there is your level 3. In this game, it's called the Exceed, and the Exceed super is a super that you can use once per game on with or hit. So keep that in mind. It's very similar to the Samurai Showdown 7 super special move, where you can only do it once per game, and of course you need to use that as best you can, as exceeds are your highest damaging attacks. Not all exceeds are created equal, obviously. Some of them have harder inputs to do than others, but there are some that are unblockable, there are some that are overheads, there are some that can be extended from combos, there's some that are even counters. So everyone has a multitude of different type of exceeds they can do, and I'll show you right now the combo potential of one like Ken's. Now, granted, Orochi Yori does have lower health, but as you can see, that is still massive damage. Almost a 100% combo just for landing an exceed. Once you reach a level 3, it becomes maximum, which we call max mode. And max mode in this game is similar to max mode of KOF 2002. What it lets you do is it allows you to cancel some normals into specials, but also specials into other specials, or specials into supers. So basically a free custom combo like mechanic that you can use. I have my meter set to full so it doesn't go down, but slowly the max meter will go down, as you've seen in various incarnations of this video. And basically, as long as you have that timer on, you're able to do those specials into others, into supers, etc, etc. And the more you use the cancel mechanic of it, the more the meter goes down. So there is a timing to it. The idea is you want to loop over special moves as much as you can, and then right as it gets to the end, you cancel your final special into a super. Now again, you know, the state of this game, SNK didn't have much time to work on it, and the maximum mechanic as a whole, something they were still figuring out how to implement as a time. Of course, they get better as we get to games like KOF 13 or 15 with how it's implemented. But at this point, there's a lot of characters that really can't utilize this maximum mechanic to the best of their abilities. I main Chun-Li in this game, and Chun-Li doesn't have any moves that can loop over. So for her, it's best to just do normal, cancelable, command normal, special move, and then super move, which I'll show in a combo after this. But let's see if we can conjure something up with Ken. You get the idea, but Ken can do stuff like that. I'll give you some other examples. And that about covers the core mechanics of the game, but I'll go over just a few tips and tricks. So the buttonhole trick, or the move buffer, is again another mechanic that is seen prevalent in KOF games. And the idea of the buttonhole trick is that it helps you to cancel special moves into supers a lot easier. For example, in this game, in maximum, Chun-Li can do fireball into her kick super, right? So normally you would have to do the fireball input, which is half circle back forward, light punch, and then double quarter circle type ×2 kick button, you know, B or D. But how the buffer input works is I can do the fireball motion, so I can just do the half circle forward fireball, then I can hold down a kick button in response, preferably D, and then do another quarter circle forward and then release the D button, and it'll give me the super input. Unfortunately, the port of this game doesn't have an input display, so you'll have to take my word for it. But if you want to practice it with the character, it's a lot easier with Chun-Li. It can be done with other characters as well, but just take my word for it, guys. Trust me. Another one is an unfortunate glitch in this game. It's called the charge glitch. So if you've played charge characters in the past, you know that while their inputs might be back forward or down up, you can store the charge input by pressing down back, right? As it counts for the down and the back. So it's giving you the charged input for both the flash kick or the sonic boom if you're a Gao player. Unfortunately, in this game, to initiate that type of a charge, you can't immediately go to down back. You have to hold down first, then move to down back, or hold back and then move to down back and then do the forward or the up for the fireball or the flash kick to come out. It's very unfortunate because, you know, in every game that works, but again, the tumultuous time period in development of this game, they weren't able to clear all of the inputs, and I'm hoping that maybe, you know, if there's some updates to this port, SNK could fix that. But I understand not wanting to touch the game because of the fact that it's a historical piece. Again, there's no input system in here, so you won't be able to see my hands, but just take my word for it. This is me holding down back and then trying to go to sonic boom. Now this is me just inputting back and then going to down back and then doing a sonic boom. Now, again, this might have been intentional just due to the fact that SNK charge time is a lot faster than Capcom's. I believe it's about half the frames. So a character like Gao can just shit out sonic booms at a rapid pace. Same with flash kicks, he can anti-air properly. So maybe that was a way of mitigating that. Though I don't want to say that's the case. I'm sure it's just a weird bug or something they didn't, you know, they weren't able to regulate for the release. But just keep that in mind if you're going to play charge characters. You need to do the proper stored motion first before moving down to the corner inputs. And last but not least, while this isn't really a part of the beginner guide, I just wanted to show the recent tier list for the game that I've been seeing going around on Twitter. Now, you know, this game, again, it's an older fighting game. It's notoriously known for how broken it can be at high level. And, you know, if you're going to play this game, I'm going to keep it honest, you're going to run into a lot of people playing a lot of the top tiers and a lot of the really broken characters. So use this as a guide for characters you may want to play. Just be warned that the low tiers in this game, they didn't get much. Some of them don't even have low confirms. Some of them barely have combos. They can't really use the max mode meter to the best of their advantage. So, you know, it just be aware of that. And of course, the top tiers have some of the most broken shit. You got, you know, Tessa just zoning you out to no end. You got Mars people doing unblockable setups with the overhead satellites. Zero, LOL, it's zero. So a lot of the boss characters in this game are really good, and they have some of the most broken stuff, in addition to utilizing the maximal system, in addition to utilizing their exceeds. So just keep that in mind when you play the game. But of course, first and foremost, have fun. This is SVC Chaos. This is a game where the chaos is in the title, and you know, it's a fun game to play. It's got its issues, we all know that, but if you've been watching this video, I hope you've been inspired to pick up the game. It's only 20 bucks, by the way, if you want to grab it on Steam or PS4. Come play with me, man. I'm still learning the game myself. I have an understanding of it because I've dabbled in the past. Well, I hope this beginner guide helped you out. If you have any questions, let me know. But I want to give a shout out to my man Lich Massacre. I'm gonna post his beginner guide in the description below as well. He did a whole hour long. He breaks down a few more things. His is the best, and he's also one of the go-to guys in the community as he runs tournaments for this game. With that being said, guys, hope you enjoy the video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment as well if you want to see more guides. Apologies for this one being a little later, but also not as organized as my Sam Show guides. But listen, I just wanted to get the message out there. Let's play some SVC Chaos. And again, I'm Rome. You've been great, and I'll see you next time.
That's all for now, fighters. But if you've enjoyed what you've seen, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, don't forget to follow Rome's social media pages down below. Take care, see you next time, and most importantly, thank you for watching.